Everyone assumes you're acting like you've got it all figured out. But truth be told, you're just taking things one day at a time, hoping for clarity. They think you're okay because you smile, but your smile hides the thousands of thoughts that weigh heavily on your heart. You may appear as if nothing phases you, but in reality, you're just trying to stay afloat in a sea of emotions that no one else can see. People think you're behaving like you've healed, but you're just learning to live with the scars one day at a time. They think you're moving on because you're not talking about it, but silence is often the loudest form of grieving. Everyone assumes you're okay, but sometimes you need space to feel the emotions that others expect you to hide. You might look like you're indifferent, but every action you take is a reflection of the love and care you're trying to express, even if it's not visible. People think you're behaving like you're over it, but the truth is, healing takes time and everyone has their own pace. They assume you're unaffected, but you're quietly processing a storm of emotions that no one else can understand. Everyone thinks you're just fine, but in your mind, you're still piecing together the fragments of your past. You may appear strong on the outside, but inside, you're constantly questioning your worth, your purpose, and your place in the world. People think you're behaving like you don't need anyone, but in truth, you're just tired of being let down. They think you're distant because you're cold, but you're just trying to protect yourself from more pain. Everyone thinks you're behaving like you don't care, but really, you're just waiting for someone to show you that they care enough to understand. They think you're okay because you're quiet, but silence often hides the most complicated feelings. You may seem unaffected, but in truth, you're just learning how to carry the weight of everything without letting it break you. Everyone thinks you're behaving like you're fine, but inside, you're still working through the emotional toll that life has taken on you. People assume you're moving on, but in reality, you're just learning how to live with the memory of what you've lost. They see you acting strong, but strength is often the quietest form of resistance to the storm within. Everyone thinks you're behaving like you've forgotten, but you carry the memory of it with you every day, trying to make sense of it all. You might seem to have it together, but beneath the surface, your mind is unraveling every unanswered question. People think you're indifferent, but you're just trying to protect your peace from the noise of the world. They believe you're fine because you're not showing it, but inside, you're wrestling with thoughts that demand your attention. You may seem like you're handling things well, but the truth is you're carrying the weight of emotions that no one else can see every single day. Everyone thinks you're behaving like you've moved on, but every step forward is a struggle to leave the past behind. People think you're okay because you've stopped talking about it, but silence is sometimes the loudest cry for help. They think you're acting fine, but behind the calm exterior is a heart that's still learning how to heal. Everyone believes you're fine because you seem to have it all together, but inside you're searching for answers you can't quite grasp. They think you've forgotten, but every moment reminds you of what you've lost and how much it's still affecting you. You might look like you've moved on, but deep down, you're still holding on to memories, trying to figure out how to let go. People think you're acting like you don't care, but what they don't know is that you care deeply. You're just learning how to protect your heart. Everyone believes you're handling everything with ease, but each day brings its own set of challenges that no one sees. They think you're distant, but you're just trying to create space for healing away from the expectations of others. You may seem unbothered to those around you, but inside, your thoughts are constantly processing the weight of everything you've been through. Everyone thinks you're behaving like you don't need anyone, but the truth is, you're just learning to stand strong on your own. They assume you're unaffected, but every time you smile, it's a reminder of the pain you've worked so hard to hide. People think you're acting like you're fine, but in reality, you're just doing your best to keep moving forward, even when it feels impossible. They think you've found peace, but peace is something you're still chasing, one step at a time, hoping to finally catch it. Everyone believes you're unaffected, but what they don't see is the quiet battle you're fighting inside every single day. Everyone thinks you're behaving like someone who has it all together, but deep inside, you're just a soul trying to make sense of the chaos surrounding you. People think you're acting distant, but what they don't realize is that you're just taking time to understand your own emotions before sharing them with the world. You may come across as calm and collected to others, but inside, your mind is racing with a million thoughts that no one can see. They think you're behaving like you don't care, but in reality, you care more than words can express, just not in the way they expect. Everyone assumes you're cold and indifferent, but you're simply guarded because you've been hurt too many times to let your guard down so easily. They say you're acting like you've moved on, but deep down, you're still holding on to the hope that things will get better. People often mistake your quietness for weakness, but what they don't see is the strength it takes to stay silent in a world that expects constant noise. Everyone thinks you're behaving like you have it all figured out, but the truth is, you're still learning to navigate life's unpredictability. They think you're acting aloof, but in reality, you're just protecting yourself from more emotional turbulence. To the outside world, you seem distant, but inside, your heart is still in turmoil, trying to reconcile the past with the present. They think you're fine, but what they don't understand is that sometimes it takes everything you have just to keep moving forward. You may appear unbothered to others, but in the quiet moments, you're confronting a storm of emotions that no one else can feel. People think you're behaving like you don't need anyone, but secretly, you long for connection, understanding, and support. They assume you're acting like you're in control, but what they don't know is that you're just doing your best to keep things from falling apart. Everyone thinks you're acting like you've given up, but in reality, you're just waiting for the right moment to rise again. You might seem carefree, but every action you take is a careful step toward healing, even when no one is looking. They see you laughing, but they don't hear the cries that follow in the silence. A reminder that everyone is carrying burdens they choose not to show. People think you're behaving like you're not affected, but every small thing leaves an imprint, even if it doesn't show on the surface. They assume you're okay, but deep within, you're trying to figure out how to piece yourself back together after everything that's happened. You might appear to have it all together, but inside, you're constantly questioning yourself, your choices, and the direction you're headed in. People think you're behaving like you're okay, but your mind is a battlefield, and your heart is trying to find peace among the chaos. They believe you're moving on, but the truth is, you're just learning how to cope with the weight of unspoken emotions. Everyone thinks you're acting like you're unaffected, but the truth is that you're just too exhausted to explain yourself to anyone. They think you're distant because you don't care, but you're just protecting yourself from more heartache. They assume you're behaving like everything is fine, but deep inside, you're working hard to keep your emotions from drowning you. You may seem composed on the outside, but in your mind, you're constantly battling self-doubt, fear, and uncertainty. People think you're behaving like you have no worries, but you're constantly fighting inner battles that no one else can see. They assume you're fine, but inside, you're struggling to keep your composure as the weight of your thoughts becomes too heavy to carry. Everyone believes you're just going through the motions, but what they don't see is that you're trying to find a deeper meaning in every step you take. They think you're okay because you've stopped talking about it, but in reality, your silence is a cry for understanding. People think you're behaving like you don't care, but what they don't know is that your indifference is just a mask for all the things you feel but can't say. They see you acting as if you're fine, but inside you're fighting a battle between what you want and what you feel you must do. Everyone thinks you're behaving like you're unaffected, but you've just learned how to keep the storm inside you from showing on the outside. They believe you're strong because you keep going, but what they don't understand is that strength sometimes means pushing through the pain quietly. You may look like you have everything under control, but underneath, you're still searching for the answers to life's most difficult questions. People think you're behaving like nothing matters, but deep down, everything matters, and you're trying to process how to carry it all.